Welcome to the Retire with Peace podcast, the podcast where we help you create a fulfilling and stress-free retirement. Each week, we bring you expert advice, practical tips, and inspiring stories to help you plan and live your best retirement life. Whether you're nearing retirement or already enjoying your golden years, this podcast is here to support you every step of the way. Let's embark on this journey together and discover how to retire with peace.
Welcome back to the Retire with Peace podcast. As always, I'm your host, Dave Zegel. We're talking today about downsizing. It's a common topic amongst retirees and even those looking towards retirement. Do I downsize or do I not downsize? There is no right or wrong answer to either staying in your current house, moving to a smaller house, moving to a totally different area, perhaps for different weather or to be closer to some family members, things like that. There's no right or wrong answer. So that's not what this is about. It's not about determining whether or not to downsize. What we're going to discuss is when to downsize if you're thinking about doing so. We've had a lot of experience with many clients. Some are just, they're not going to downsize where they're at, just where they're at. That's totally fine. We've had some move to one location only to move somewhere else. And we've had some who definitely wanted to downsize and did so. So we've seen lots of different examples with this. And the research will back up what we are going to discuss as well, which is if you are thinking about downsizing, or even if you are certain that you want to downsize, my recommendation in general is to do it sooner rather than later. Now, the reason I say my recommendation in general is because there's a ton of factors. There could just simply be timing. Sometimes it's what's available on the market. Sometimes it could be what are the total costs when you look at interest rates. What is your house selling for? Do you need to do some fix-ups to your house before you then relocate somewhere else? So there's a lot of different variables involved. But if you are someone who is looking to downsize in the future, again, my recommendation is to do it sooner rather than later, because it's really difficult to do so if something comes up. Meaning, you could have a physical disability. Doesn't really matter what that is. Could be hip, knee, back, whatever. You could have a physical disability that makes that move more difficult. And not only the move, but the adjustment to the new house. And that goes for a mental disability as well. So there's lots of different examples there where all of a sudden there's a cognitive impairment, essentially. And if you move to a different house, then now all of a sudden your brain is trying to not only keep up with the usual activities, but it's trying to adjust to living in a whole new space. So regardless of whether it's some issue mentally, cognitively, or even physically, if you wait to downsize until after something has happened, it's really hard to shift then into a new house. It's not impossible by any means, and every situation is different. And I'm not saying that people will necessarily, not everybody's going to have an issue either physically or mentally. So that's not the problem. But the focus is something could happen in the future, regardless of how healthy we are now. And we need to be cognizant of that and think, well, would I want to move after something has happened? And most people would say, no, not really. I really want to focus on moving before something like that has happened and getting used to that new location, just in terms of where things are, how things are arranged, just everything. You want to have some time to get accustomed to that. Then, if something happens to where you're impaired physically or mentally in any form, you've already been settled in that house. So you can have an easier time navigating. And again, you can dive into, I'm not going to bring up all the different research on it, but you can dive into just about any research. It'll tell you how hard it is to have any type of impairment and then try to move. It's really, really difficult. So that's the message for today. Short message, but just a thought for everyone who is considering downsizing in the future, my encouragement again is to do it sooner rather than later because you just never know what the future holds. And it's really, really nice to get settled into that new place early if you can. Then, if something does happen down the road, you're already there, you're settled, you're not trying to make some big transition at the same time or shortly after something has happened to you.